Well, hi for nigh. This week has been the kind of week where you don't even have the strength to come up with a decent metaphor, so you go for a pun instead. Get it? Kind of weak? Weak as in strength? Yeah, I'm afraid the metaphor is more like a meta 1 today, Graticasters, because you see, I'm talking to you at the end of the week from hell. The Graticast. Episode 23, The Week from Hell. So yeah, my role in the Alan Ayckbourn comedy Communicating Doors ended the other Saturday, and with it went my excuse to spend time with some of my favourite people on the planet. But I thought I'd be protected from the usual post-activity come down by my upcoming appearance in Cambridge Operatics, Oklahoma. Yet it seemed my car had also suffered a broken heart. That same weekend, he decided that 70 was just far too fast. 40 was a much more manageable average speed. So for an 8:30 AM gig on Monday that should have been just 90 minutes away, I had to leave the house at 5:30 AM to crawl along the motorway at the minimum legal speed. 3 hours of listening to my MP3s over a relentless backdrop of honks from overtaking vehicles. I rolled up at the school at exactly 8:30 and performed a decent enough gig, while a few of you guys tweeted and posted to try and raise my spirits. But afterwards, a visit to the Halfords Auto Centre revealed diddly squat. "I'd love to spend more time on it, but my wife would kill me," grinned the chief technician. And he gave me a £20 can of fuel system cleaner completely free in case that was the problem. Thing was, I couldn't use it straight away because you had to put it into an empty tank and then top up with fuel. But I had another 300 miles to burn before I could use it. And so burn 'em I did, pushing my car to keep at 40 throughout every 70 limit, 60, 50, 30... Car at half power and I get caught by my first speed camera in 5 years. Great. Cheese great. Well, we rehearsed Oklahoma every night this week, meaning I had plenty of time around great friends who are always happy to donate hugs and smiles and, well, even furniture for my new home this week. But I had a 100-mile trip the next day, which would have meant leaving at 4 AM after getting back to my place at midnight. Fortunately though, my father offered to swap cars, which meant I ended up leaving at 4:30 AM after getting to his place at 1 AM. Wait a minute. I took my laptop into the school with my props so I could catch up on some work during the breaks, but the timetable they gave me had fewer breaks than a unicycle. It was a good gig, but then I picked up my props, sped all the way back to Cambridge for Oklahoma, and arrived to the realisation that I'd left my laptop in the school staff room. But when I got back home I discovered I wouldn't have been able to use it at that school anyway. Yeah, the laptop battery and charger were still on my desk. Wonderful. Fool. I geared up for another early morning start to go back for it, until a friend reminded me that couriers exist. So instead I returned to my father to swap cars back. He'd taken mine to a garage where they had cleaned the exhaust, meaning I could drive all the way back home at a pleasant 60, and the following day set off to collect one of my freelancers at 40. Yup, my car had once again slipped into comatosity. But I knew the problem this time, so all I had to do was take it to another garage and pay them for another clean, right? That same day, my bank phoned to say they've stopped my cards because a fraudster's hacked a website somewhere and used my debit card details to make some international payments of several hundreds of pounds. Astonishing. Tarnishing. I'd love to say that was all, but it really wasn't. There's the colleague whose unfortunate accidents rendered her incapable of completing work I need for the premiere of my new show, the fact I've come down with a cold just before a week of musical theatre, I arrived at a gig ready for one performance only to find that they'd actually booked a different one through my agent. I tell you, this week has seriously ruined me. Whoa, hold on a second, it weren't all that bad. Haven't you been listening? It's been like the worst week of my life. No, I'm not going to let you sit there and say that. What we need here is change of emphasis. Some upbeat music. And for crying out loud, take that makeup off. You look like your sister.
The Graticast! Episode 23, Clutching at Straws.
Now I said goodbye to some fantastic friends this week for goodness knows how long really, but I'm taking with me some amazing memories. I'm going straight into making more with my great buddies in Oklahoma. However, my car empathised with my sense of loss by slowing down to an average speed of 40 miles an hour. But I tell you what, arriving bang on time after a tedious 3-hour journey, now that's satisfying. Plus, I was also heartened by all of your tweets and posts reminding me of things to be thankful for, such as arriving in one piece. Perhaps that's why I went on to have such a great gig. So cheers, Graticasters. You're the best. I also got some of the best customer service ever from the Halfords Auto Centre in Hendon. They took me in at short notice, and even though they found nothing wrong, they gave me a can of the market-leading fuel cleaner completely free. So, cheers guys! This week I also got a table from my friends Emma and Pud to help me kit out my new home. My dad let me use his car for a couple of days. Thanks also to Kathleen, the receptionist at that school 100 miles away, who kindly boxed up my laptop for the courier. And also to my friend for reminding me that couriers exist. I have been in receipt of some great generosity this week, so thanks folks, so very, very much. Plus, I can be grateful to my bank for spotting and blocking that international master thief before he did too much damage. You know, all these examples of awesome humanity have made this possibly one of the best weeks of my life. Those little ironies, like the speed camera and the laptop power cables, well, those are what sitcoms are made of. Life's little reminders not to take it too seriously. They help you realise that you can still see a smile in the darkest of rooms, even if the gap in the curtains is as thin as a nail. Okay, that metaphor was a little bit more disturbing than I intended, but you get the gist. A big thank you too for all the gratitudes that you've been leaving on our social media. On Facebook, Lucy from Canterbury thanked all her friends for putting up with her recent eccentricities. Now Lucy, you'd do the same for them though, right? Also on Facebook, Jessica in France was in a house with no heating and so deeply thankful for log fires and heated mattresses. Well, just to make you jealous, Jess, over on Twitter we've had some gratitude for the warm, strawberry ripening weather they're having in Australia at the moment, from Sasha Nemo. Also on Twitter, the University of Memphis tennis program wanted to congratulate their men's team for raising $1,535 for the St. Jude's Children's Research Hospital. Bet that made a few people bat an eyelid. And here's a lovely one to finish with. At Chelsea Watt wanted to thank at Ms. Megan Makeup for some top-notch hugs. Now, this week's Gratitune suggestion was received on Google Plus from Tracy in Canterbury, and not only is it topical, it's also great to buy for many reasons. It's Band-Aid's latest version of Do They Know It's Christmas. Click the link at the end of this video for the full song, and there you'll also find links to download and donate to help curb the effects of the Ebola virus. So finally, thank you for watching. Before I leave you though, one last thing. If you ever find yourself feeling that everything's going wrong, remember, if your feeling's right, that's one thing that is. Stay thankful, and ciao for now.